You think women's golf is all polite handshakes and congratulations? Think again. Behind those picture-perfect smiles lies some of the most brutal cutthroat competition in all of sports. Welcome back to the channel, golf fans. Today, we're exposing the nastiest rivalries in LPGA history, the battles that turned friends into enemies, the competitions that ended in tears, and the grudges that still haven't been settled. These aren't just rivalries, they're wars. And trust me, what you're about to see will shock you. Before we dive in, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because you do not want to miss this drama. And stick around till the end for the rivalry that literally changed golf forever. Let's tee off. Kicking off at number 10, we have a rivalry that had everyone picking sides. The golf world was obsessed with two teenage phenoms, New Zealand's Lydia and Canada's Brooke Henderson. Both were breaking records, both had massive fan bases, and both wanted to be the face of women's golf. Was the golden child, youngest world #1 ever at 17 years old. She'd already won majors and was dominating the tour. But then came Henderson, the powerful Canadian who wasn't intimidated by anyone. Their battles were legendary. Henderson would birdie, would eagle. Would make a clutch putt, Henderson would answer right back. The tension was real. But here's what made it spicy. Their fans turned it into an international war. Kiwis versus Canadians, arguing on social media about who was better. Every tournament became a referendum on which teenager deserved the crown. Ultimately dominated the early rivalry with more wins and world ranking supremacy. But Henderson got the last laugh by winning a major first at the Women's PGA Championship in 2016, something struggled to do early in her career. The rivalry cooled as both matured, but for a few years, it was must-see TV every time they teed it up together. At number 9, we have two American stars who couldn't stand each other. Christy Kerr, the veteran, the major champion, the established star. Pressel, the young upstart with the big personality and even bigger confidence. These two should have been teammates, friends, allies. Instead, they were barely civil. The tension exploded at the 2007 Solheim Cup. Pressel, the rookie, made some comments about team strategy that Kerr thought were out of line. Kerr, never one to hold back, let her know it publicly. Their playing styles were opposite too. Kerr was methodical and consistent. Pressel was aggressive and flashy. Critics said Pressel talked too much. Fans said Kerr was too uptight. And the media, they loved pouring gasoline on this fire. The worst part, they had to partner together in team events. Can you imagine being forced to work with someone who drives you crazy? That's awkward. While neither ever publicly destroyed the other, their body language told the whole story. Cold shoulders, minimal communication, the kind of rivalry where you celebrate when the other person loses. Eventually, both mellowed with age. But for years, these two American stars proved that not all battles are against international opponents. Number 8 brings us to a rivalry built on hype, pressure, and ultimately, disappointment. The early 2000s gave us two American teenage sensations, Paula, the Pink Panther with the $1 million smile, and Michelle Y, the 6-foot prodigy who wanted to compete against men. The LPGA practically salivated at this matchup. Two marketable young Americans who could save women's golf. Networks promoted their head-to-heads like boxing matches, but here's where it got ugly. Their career paths went in completely different directions, and the comparison became brutal. Lived up to the hype. She won tournaments, won a U.S. Women's Open, made Solheim Cup teams, became exactly what everyone predicted. Meanwhile, we struggled with injuries, controversial decisions, and the weight of impossible expectations. Every time they played together, the media narrative was savage. succeeds while we continues to disappoint. The comparison wasn't just about golf, it became about who made better life choices. We later admitted the constant comparison destroyed her confidence. Imagine being 16 years old and constantly being told you're a failure compared to your peer. Creamer, to her credit, never publicly trashed Wee, but she didn't need to. The scoreboard did it for her. Both eventually found success in their own ways. Wee won a US Open in 2014, but for years, this rivalry represented everything wrong with how we treat young female athletes. At number 7, we travel back to the 1980s for a rivalry so icy It could freeze the fairways. Beth Daniel versus Pat Bradley, two of the decade's dominant players who could barely look at each other. Both were Hall of Fame talents. Both won majors. Both competed for every title. But the hatred between them, legendary. Daniel was fiery and emotional. Bradley was stoic and machine-like. When they competed, you could cut the tension with a knife. What made this rivalry so intense? They were too similar. Same age, same skill levels, same determination to dominate. It was like looking in a mirror and hating what you saw. The tour veterans still whisper about their battles, silent treatment in the locker room, refusing to practice near each other, the kind of rivalry where if one won, the other wouldn't even fake being happy. Bradley won 31 LPGA titles, including 6 majors. Daniel won 33 times with 1 major. They were so evenly matched that neither could claim total dominance. And here's the crazy part, they still barely talk. Decades later, at Hall of Fame ceremonies, the politeness is so forced it's painful to watch. This wasn't competitive respect. This was pure, unfiltered dislike that never went away. Coming in at number 6, we have a rivalry that exposed the ugly truth about marketing women's sports. Jan Stephenson, the Australian bombshell who posed in bathtubs with golf balls and prioritized sex appeal. Nancy Lopez, the Mexican-American girl next door who let her golf do the talking. On the surface, they were friendly, but underneath, a philosophical war about what women's golf should represent. Stephenson believed sex appeal sold the sport. She did provocative photo shoots. She embraced being golf's pinup girl. Critics said she set women's golf back decades. Supporters said she brought new fans to the game. Lopez? She was appalled. Not publicly, she was too classy for that, but people close to her knew how she felt. Lopez believed women's golf should be about skill, not skin. The media played both sides. They celebrated Stephenson's glamour while praising Lopez's authenticity, and fans were divided. Some said Stephenson was liberating. Others said she was exploiting herself. Here's what made it personal. Sponsors started asking other players to do sexy shoots. Some felt pressured to compete with Stephenson's image rather than her golf. Stephenson won 3 majors, Lopez won 3 majors, but their legacy battle? That's still being fought today. Was Stephenson a feminist who controlled her image, or did she reduce female golfers to eye candy? The debate rages on. This rivalry proved that in women's golf, you're not just competing against other players, you're competing against expectations of what a female athlete should be. At number 5, we have a rivalry born from controversy and fueled by suspicion. Lexi Thompson gets penalized 4 strokes by a TV viewer, loses the ANA inspiration in a playoff. But who won? Ariya Jutanugarn's friend, So Yeon Ryu. Then came 2019, the backstopping incident. Thompson and Jutanugarn were playing together. Thompson chips toward the hole where Jutanugarn's ball is sitting. Instead of marking it, Jutanugarn leaves it there. And Thompson's ball hits it and stops. The internet exploded. Cheaters, collusion. They planned this. LPGA investigated and found no wrongdoing. But the damage was done. Fans were convinced these players were working together. Every time Thompson and Jutanugarn played together after that, fans scrutinized every move. A smile, conspiracy, a conversation. They're plotting. The worst part, both players claimed innocence but were treated like criminals by portions of the golf world. Thompson, already traumatized from the 2017 penalty, now had another controversy following her. Jutanugarn maintained she didn't realize the ball was in play. But here's the real story. These two weren't rivals before. They barely knew each other. The fans created this rivalry. Social media turned a possible accident into a scandal. And guess what? They've barely played together since. Coincidence? Maybe. Or maybe they're avoiding each other to prevent another controversy. This rivalry proves that in the social media age, perception is reality, even when reality is unclear. At number 4, we have the rivalry defining women's golf right now. Lydia Ko, the teenage prodigy who became world number 1 at 17, then crashed, then rebuilt herself into an Olympic champion. Nelly Korda, the American superstar with the perfect family, perfect swing, and perfect Instagram feed, who won 7 tournaments in 2024. These two are everything. skill, drama, comeback stories, dominance, and a competition for world #1 that's been a roller coaster. Ko dominated early. Korda took over. Ko fell to 55 in the world. Korda reached #1. Then Ko fought back with 3 majors and Olympic gold. Now Korda lost her ranking to Gino Tsitikul. But here's what makes this rivalry different. They actually like each other. Ko congratulates Korda. Korda compliments Ko. It's weird for a rivalry. Or is it? Some fans think the mutual respect is fake. They're just playing nice for cameras. Wait until one of them costs the other a major. The 2021 CME Tour Championship finale was peak drama. Ko and Korda battled down to the final holes for Player of the Year. Ko shot 63 in the final round and won. The look on Korda's face? Devastation. Critics say Ko is more complete. Supporters say Korda is more dominant. The debate is endless. And here's the kicker. Both are in their prime. This rivalry isn't ending anytime soon. We're watching the Tiger versus Phil of women's golf unfold in real time. Every major championship, every tournament, every world ranking update. Ko versus Korda is the story. Who's better? The world can't decide. And that's what makes it amazing. Coming in at number 3, we have what many consider the greatest rivalry in LPGA history, yet it's constantly overlooked. Late 1990s to mid-2000s, Annika Sorenstam versus Karrie Webb. Swedish Ice Queen meets Australian Assassin. From 1995 to 2001, these two dominated women's golf like no rivalry before or since. They combined for 34 wins in just 5 years. They traded the #1 ranking back and forth. Sorenstam was robotic, perfect swing, emotionless, machine-like consistency. Webb was powerful and intense. She'd stare you down like a fighter. The media tried to create personal drama but couldn't. These two were professionals. They respected each other publicly. But behind closed doors, the competition was brutal. One journalist who covered the era remembered approaching Webb after she won the U.S. Open and asking who she wanted to vote off the island like Survivor. Webb's friendly demeanor vanished. "I'm not answering that." She stormed off. Why? Because everyone knew she'd say Sorenstam. Sorenstam won 72 times. Webb won 41 times. Sorenstam dominated majors with 10. Webb got 7. But for a brief period, Webb was better. She won Player of the Year in 1999 and 2000. Here's what made it legendary. They pushed each other to unthinkable heights. Without Webb, Sorenstam doesn't become the greatest female golfer ever. Without Sorenstam, Webb doesn't reach her potential. The rivalry ended when Sorenstam retired in 2008. But the debate hasn't ended. Who was better? Sorenstam has the numbers, but Webb had the intimidation factor. Golf historians call this the Ali Frazier of women's golf. Two all-time greats at their absolute peak, beating each other senseless for years. Yet most casual fans barely remember. Why? Because the LPGA didn't market it properly. They had lightning in a bottle and let it slip away. This rivalry deserved more. It deserved respect. It deserved to be remembered alongside Palmer Nicholas. Instead, it's a footnote, and that's criminal. At number 2, we travel back to the beginning, the rivalry that literally created the LPGA. 1940s and 50s. Patty Berg, the Minnesota sweetheart, the golf purist, the ambassador of the game. Babe Didrikson Zaharias, the multi-sport legend who talked trash and backed it up. These two founded the LPGA together in 1950 and immediately started fighting for supremacy. Babe was everything Patty wasn't. Loud, brash, masculine in an era where that was scandalous. She'd been an Olympic track star, a baseball player, a basketball star, and now she was conquering golf. Berg was traditional, proper, the perfect 1950s lady golfer, everything the establishment wanted women's golf to be. Their rivalry was cultural warfare. Babe represented the new woman, athletic, powerful, unapologetic. Berg represented tradition, graceful, elegant, acceptable. On the course, they battled. Babe won 41 LPGA titles. Berg won 60. Both won majors. Both defined excellence. But off the course, tension. Babe would make comments about Berg being too dainty. Berg would respond with subtle digs about Babe being unladylike. The media played it up. tomboy versus princess, power versus finesse. Every tournament became a referendum on what women's sports should be. Then tragedy struck. Babe was diagnosed with cancer in 1953. She fought back, won tournaments while sick, then passed away in 1956 at just 45 years old. Berg was devastated. Despite their rivalry, she'd lost her greatest competitor, her greatest challenger, her greatest equal. This rivalry proved something crucial. Women's golf needed both. The babes and the patties, the groundbreakers and the ambassadors. Without this rivalry, there is no LPGA. They created the foundation for everything that came after. And finally, at number 1, the greatest rivalry in LPGA history, the one that made women's golf matter. 1958 to 1973, 15 years of dominance. Mickey Wright versus Kathy Whitworth. These two women lead the LPGA in victories 13 times in 16 years. 13 times. That's not a rivalry, that's a monopoly. Wright finished with 82 wins and 13 majors. Whitworth won 88 times, the most in LPGA history. Between them, 170 LPGA victories. If they played today, networks would fight for broadcast rights. But back then, they played in relative obscurity, creating legends anyway. Wright was power and precision, considered by many the greatest ball striker women's golf has ever seen. Whitworth was consistency and grinding, 95 second-place finishes to go with her 88 wins. Every week, fans asked the same question: will it be Mickey or Kathy? Because it was always one of them. The rivalry was intense but respectful. No trash talk, no drama. Just two titans playing golf at a level the world had never seen from women. Wright dominated majors. Whitworth dominated everything else. Wright had the swing. Whitworth had the longevity. But here's the tragedy. Most golf fans today don't even know who they are. Two of the greatest golfers ever forget women, just golfers, and they're forgotten. Why? Because women's golf wasn't valued the way it should have been. Because their achievements were minimized. Because history has a short memory for female athletes. This rivalry was golf's Ali versus Frazier, golf's Magic versus Bird. But it happened to women, so it got erased. That's the controversy. Not what they did on the course, but how history has ignored what they did. Wright versus Whitworth deserves to be remembered alongside Palmer versus Nicklaus. They created must-see golf for 15 years, and if you didn't know about them before this video, now you do. And that's exactly why this rivalry is number 1. There you have it, the 10 most heated rivalries in LPGA history. From founding feuds to modern battles, women's golf has always had drama. These weren't just competitions, they were wars. They defined careers, shaped legacies, and proved that women's golf is just as intense, just as competitive, and just as entertaining as anything the men do. So which rivalry shocked you the most? Are you Team Co or Team Korda? Did Sorenstam Webb deserve more respect? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you made it this far, you're a true golf fan. Smash that like button, subscribe for more incredible golf content, and hit the notification bell so you never miss the drama. Remember, behind every perfect swing and polite smile, there's a warrior ready to destroy the competition. Until next time, keep your head down, your game strong, and your rivalries spicy.